Hi guys. So it's been a while since I've done a video that's not a high score challenge game. And so what I've got here is a game that I discovered recently, but I think's awesome. So this is Recca on the NES. This is also, or you might find it called Summer Carnival 92 Recca. And the reason for that is that this NES game came out in 1992, and it came out as part of a sort of shmup competition. And the thing that I think is amazing about this game is just like the speed it runs at and the number of sprites on screen. It's really quite incredible. This is running on an NES, and yet is able to handle all this stuff going on. Here I've got this running on my Mr. FPGA, so it's really recreating that original hardware. Oh, that was silly. There is an option to turn on extra sprites, because this game definitely is a bit much for that original hardware. You'll see here there's a little bit of slowdown. Yeah, there's a little bit of slowdown, there's a little bit of sprite flicker as well, and the Mister does have an option to reduce sprite flicker, but I've got that turned off at the moment. So this is really the performance you would get on an original NES. And so yeah, how I came about kind of finding this game was I was actually on the Wikipedia page for Battle Recca, and saw that this game had been developed by the same developer as that game. So and I think that same developer, Japanese guy, I couldn't tell you the guy's name, went on to develop Battle Recca, but then also some of the cave games as well. I think maybe Ibarra and Pink Sweets. So yeah, certainly like the, I guess, first serious project of someone who's clearly very talented in developing shmups. And so I was like, well, that's kind of interesting, a NES shmup, from someone who's gone on to make some very big games in the genre. And so I checked it out and I was like, wow, how is this running on an NES? As you can see, there's just crazy amounts going on. The music is amazing. They've really maximized the hardware available to them. So it's extremely impressive. And coming out in 1992, 16-bit machines were well into their life. That's game over. This game is also extremely difficult. But yeah, the Mega Drive came out in '89, so that had already been around for 3 years by the time this game came out. So let's fire another one up, and we can maybe I can pay a little bit more attention rather than so much chatting to the camera. Yeah, and so it really, one of the final NES games, and one that showed what was possible. And so yeah, I thought I would kind of make a video showing you guys this, and maybe I'll do a few of these kind of videos, ones that things I'd not heard of, but that I think are well worth checking out. And with emulation, or in this case the Mr. FPGA that I've got here, access to this game is super easy. Whereas I'm guessing it was probably an exclusive, possibly a Japanese exclusive when it came out. With the Mister, there is the option to add extra sprites, so you can reduce some of that sprite flicker. And if you're playing in an emulator that allows you to kind of overclock the CPU, so I'd previously been playing this in the Meson emulator. And that allows you to speed the CPU up, and means you can reduce some of the slowdown. For example, as I say, this boss causes some slowdown. So yeah, this is a it's a vertical scrolling shmup. It's obviously horizontal rather than a vertical game. The weapon system in the game is kind of interesting. If you don't shoot, you get this kind of energy sort of sphere, I guess, build up in front of you, and this also acts as a shield. So some bullets can't pass through that, and then once it's built up, you can fire it, and it releases this kind of explosion, and then anything going into that space gets absorbed, which is kind of handy. And then you've got a primary weapon, which is basically on the first button. You've got auto fire built in natively, so you can literally just hold it down and fill the screen with bullets. And there are various flavors of that. You can get basically those blue power-ups that have letters on them. Each of them corresponds to a different weapon. I mean, if you really want a playthrough or a guide of this game, I suggest you look at a different video, because that wasn't really the plan for what I'm doing here, but just a quick look at, really. So yeah, you've got the primary weapon that you can upgrade, and if you continually get the same letter, that then builds up that weapon. And then there's also this sort of secondary weapon. You see the one I just picked up there spinning around me. It's kind of like a shield. So if anything crashes into that, it protects you. So it's yeah, an additional kind of bit of defense, but also somewhat offensive as well. And depending which one you get, depends on the I'm really not very good at this boss. I don't really know what I'm supposed to do. I keep getting shot by the bullets here. Yeah, so that secondary weapon. Oh, I killed it. Nice. Yeah, that secondary weapon, depending on which one you get, there are different positions that it moves to. So there's one that spins round, there's ones that go to the side of you, ones that change position depending on the direction you press. Okay, I got past that second boss with 1 life left. So yeah, I think this is a game well worth checking out, especially if you're a shmup fan. If you're a shmup fan and a NES fan, definitely go check it out, because it will run on original hardware, because that's what it was developed for, but runs equally well in an emulator, potentially even better in an emulator, or on a Mister, as I've got here. So yeah, go have a look. I hope you enjoyed this little look at. Maybe I'll do some more of these look at games that I hadn't heard of, but I think are really good. So see you soon. Bye.